Hello viewers, welcome to International Talks. Today we are going to talk about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. As you know, from May 7th to May 21 was the hot phase of the conflict. Over 4,000 rockets were fired by Hamas and retaliated by the Israeli airstrikes, which took the lives of more than 200 people, including children. But we're going to cover the media coverage of it. So we have been spectating the live coverage by the different media outlets from the Gaza. However, different media outlets were giving us the biased, unprofessional, and incompetent views because they've been covering from the one side only without any expert knowledge. They were just feeding people what they wanted to know us about the conflict. So for example, these two media outlets were covering it from Palestinian side only. They were neglecting anything and everything which makes sense from the Israeli point of view. And these media outlets were covering it specifically from the Israeli point of view. And of course they were neglecting anything and everything from the Palestinian point of view. So here is the vivid example of how divisive was this conflict, specifically how the coverage by the media outlets was divisive. So for example, this media outlet covers basically the entire world. However, it has the Australian department and the British department. So the anchor from the British department was mocked by the anchor from the Australian department. And this, not all, but this is one of the mainstream medias. So you can imagine how divisive it was.
And is leading to disproportionate suffering on the Palestinian side.
Disproportionate, settlement.
Jumping from the mainstream media, there was a social media as well. Different people with their backgrounds from Israeli point of view or the Palestinian point of view have been covering and posting their opinion on the social media. And it was again divisive. So, for example, these two individuals have been covering the conflict and were posting their opinions about the conflict. However, it was so divisive that each side could pick each other and there was nothing but anger at each other. So there was no analytics behind it, no common sense, just cheering for their sides and being angry at the other side. At the end of the day, what they did give to us? Nothing. Nothing but anger, divisiveness, incompetence, and just seeing some people being opinionated. This conflict was also very popular among comedians. Now you would ask, what do they have in common? Well, nothing. They don't know about the conflict. They don't even want to know more about the conflict. But since they have this huge audience, they have to say something. So they were more empathizing with the Palestinian side because they have suffered more, which is an obvious fact. But what about the analytics and what about why this conflict is happening and why do we and how can we solve it? So absolutely nothing. And people were looking at social media and people like John Oliver and Trevor Noah, for example, who have these millions of audience, and yet nothing of a value. So there was a counter argument from the Israeli comedians as well, which covers only and purely the Israeli point of view and that the Hamas is to blame everything. And again, we don't have anything about the conflict. And actually, John Oliver said that he will not go into the historic context of it. Well, I mean, seriously? Why cover the conflict? So just because it happens, you have to cover it. No, you're a comedian. You could say that, oh, I don't know, or just do your job. Now, it may sound that I'm angry with these comedians. Well, actually, no. I do love their comedy pieces, but I don't love when they are too political and being too divisive and giving kind of an expert opinion because it is perceived so. So for millions of people, these people are experts on the subject and they are listening to them. So, and what value do they give them? Well, again, absolutely nothing, because you know nothing about the conflict. How it starts, why it starts, how it can be ended, what is the solution. They're telling nothing. So they are taking just one side, basically who suffers more. They're empathizing with it. And you're good to go. You can cover it, you can say whatever you want. So, and that's it. And of course, Ben Shapiro also have covered this conflict. I loved the video that he published. It is a half-an-hour video that covers the historic backgrounds and gives the political analysis of the conflict. And I loved the video, I enjoyed, and I think that it's pretty accurate. However, I think that he was deliberately omitting the part with the Israeli settlement issues in the West Bank, which is a big issue, by the way, not only on the regional scale, but also at the international level, because according to the international law, and specifically the 2334 UN Security Council resolution, these settlements that are since 2001 are perceived as illegal by the UN Security Council. So it's a big issue in this conflict, and omitting that part is, I think, a very bad thing, because you don't get a full scale of analysis of the conflict. In the upcoming videos, we're going to cover this conflict from the scratch, so-called, from the historic background, from the political issues, ending with the military and economy of this region, because we cannot rely on mainstream media and especially on the celebrities who have to say something about this conflict, even though they don't even know anything about it. So they are just entitled to say something. And the media that covers this conflict, and even when they are kind of presenting you with the both side narrative, it's just ridiculous, because they are inviting two sides, and in a segment of 8 minutes, when they are talking over each other, you have to somehow grasp the what they are talking about, which is purely just impossible. So we're going to do that and wait for the upcoming videos. So the moral of this video is that you have to uncover the truth if you are interested in any subject yourself. And this is the only recipe to knowing what is going on. And you should not rely on mainstream medias, because they are biased, incompetent, and they have their own agenda. And you should definitely not base your knowledge on the subject on some celebrities who have to say something about this conflict. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss the upcoming videos. Until next time.